right, here we go. WBV Podcast 48. And this is a very special podcast. What was it? Wednesday after school special? Yeah. So this is kind of like that. So the Welcome Back Voorhees Podcast 48. We talked about it a couple podcasts ago. Mark Norman, the very funny New York comic, came on the show. And actually, so we did this, today's what, Monday? I don't know. We normally do the podcast on a Friday night, but Mark was awesome and did the podcast with us. So I'm in a room alone. So Tony was here earlier, but he left, but you know how it goes. So yeah, we called Mark Norman and we had a fantastic interview. Check it out right here, WBV Podcast 48. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, is this Mark Norman?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, how are you, man? This is Denny and Tony from the WBV Podcast.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Well, let me give your credits out there first to our audience. So Mark is a very funny New York-based comic. You've done a ton of stuff. You've been on Conan twice, Inside Amy Schumer. Comedy album, Still Got It. You can get that on iTunes. And, of course, Horace and Pete there. How's the tour going with Amy Schumer? I know you've just got back from Australia. You're all over the place.
Oh, man, it's been a whirlwind. I'm really trying to cherish it. It's private jet, it's arenas, it's the whole thing. It's like I'm working with Eddie Murphy in the 80s, except for the transvestites. But
which Jimmy Norton would love.
Yeah, exactly. He's a mess.
No, once again, hey, man, I really appreciate you joining the show. And honestly, I'm a huge fan. When you were on Opie and Jimmy a ton, and then one of our good buddies that couldn't be here today, he didn't die, but he just couldn't be here today, is
no longer
really,
with us.
Yeah, he's no longer with us today. Turned me on to Tuesdays with Stories, which is a fucking riot, man. What a great podcast.
Oh, really? Wow. I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, we work hard at it. That's not true. We just work hard at it all. But I appreciate you listening, and yeah, it means a lot to us.
Yeah, I mean Joe List is from up in Massachusetts here, so he was a Massachusetts guy. Went down to New York. Actually, you grew up in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, New Orleans.
How was that scene when you were
an odd pair?
How was that scene when you were growing up? What was young Mark Norman doing pre-comedy days?
I was a rudderless douche, I was vandalizing, and I lost my virginity to a prostitute. Started drinking too young, It's a fun city, but you don't want to raise a kid there because he'll turn out to be a lunatic or comedian. So,
it's like Vegas. The only two places in
like
the country,
Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you can drink outside, There's just musicians playing. There's black guys with bottle caps on their feet. It's a topsy-turvy world.
And that's one thing, too. We were talking about this on a couple of podcasts back, how your friggin' lingo, man. You got me saying kooky and fucking is all these, all these different terms. Like even the word pod, which is now, of course, shortened for a podcast. But you guys, man,
yeah.
you got me saying certain shit. And so,
Oh, hey.
What were
Thanks. Wait, can we curse on here?
Of course you can. Fuck it.
Go crazy.
Oh, jeez, I've been holding back like a fag. All right, jeez.
Yeah, there's nothing clean about this at all. This is the Welcome Back Voorhees Just Circus podcast. But, hey, you know what I was thinking, too, is, I mean, you're at a point where you're really fucking taking off, and that. It must be really cool to be at this point where, what were the jobs you had growing up? I'm assuming you had to have some shitbag jobs on your way up the ladder.
Oh, my God. I mean, just the jobs I've had in New York alone are pretty horrific. Like, I watched that show Dirty Jobs, and I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. I used to, when I first moved here, I worked at a university, and I had to kick kids out for not making attendance. And it was the worst. I was a film school. It was the worst job in the world because I'm here trying to live my dream. They're trying to live their dream at school, and I'm kicking them out. They're like kids from Prague and, the UK and all this. And I'm like, yeah, you got to hit the bricks, douche. You got to go. You were absent too many times. And he's like, I want to be a filmmaker, and it's my whole life passion. And I'm like, yeah, keep it moving.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so that was hell. And then I had like panic attacks, and I had like bad, what do you call that shit with the throat? You can't swallow.
AIDS?
Acid reflux. That's
Oh.
the same. Yeah.
All from stress from that job?
Yeah, I felt so bad. I would like chase the kids out, and we'd hug it out, and we'd blow each other, and it was brutal.
Were you about the same age as those kids, or what was the age difference?
Yeah, I was
weird.
like 21, 22. They were 21 or 18. It was hell. I felt they had to fly back to Afghanistan or wherever the hell they were from, and I wanted to kill myself. So I got the hell out of there, and I became a furniture mover.
Oh, that's
kind
gonna
of
be
stressful.
Yeah.
In New
That's
York
a rough
City?
gig.
Holy shit.
Yeah, in the
Oh,
summertime,
yeah.
95 degrees, and you got to move shit up fucking 1,000 flights of
Some
stairs.
buildings don't even have elevators.
Yeah, a lot of them didn't have elevators.
Ugh.
You got a sofa on your back, and the goddamn sofa bed pops out like a punching glove, you know. And you're like, jeez, did they hit you in the balls? And you drop the sofa, and the gay guy's yelling at you. It's the whole thing.
Oh, God.
Two Fruits Moving Company? Is that who it was? The gay guy?
Yeah.
So what
It's a
got you?
thankless job.
What
What?
eventually got you into comedy? So I'm assuming, you did all the gigs. I mean, honestly, my buddy Tony here, I did radio in Boston for years, and that's the thing that I love to do. And now it's evolved into the podcast, which is great. I can do this from the fucking basement. But at what point in your life did you say, hey man, I want to get up on a stage and make people laugh? And that's a fucking ballsy move. I mean, did you have comedians you looked up to, or did you just kind of fall into it?
Well, growing up, I always just loved comedy. I was a huge Bill Murray fan. I was a huge Groucho Marx fan. I loved just like Ghostbusters and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all the John Hughes stuff. I loved The Simpsons and just stuff like that. And, you know, a stand-up comic to me, I was just a low self-esteem kid from Louisiana. So I never assumed I could be a comedian. It was like being an astronaut, you know. And so it was all desperation. I lived in a house with 5 guys. We would just steal booze and drink and talk about dumb stuff, and you just sit around going, if you had 2 dicks, what would you do? And that was our whole life.
That's our podcast, pretty much.
Yeah, and we're 40.
Yeah.
40 years old.
It's very fun. It's a good time, but I was rudderless. I worked at Blockbuster, and I was a waiter at a Mexican restaurant. I was just trying to get my life together, and I was rudderless, and I had nothing going on. I went to an open mic just as a goof, and I got shithoused, drunk, and I talked about a yeast infection a girl gave me, and it went pretty well.
Really?
Like,
that's rare.
Maybe this could be it.
Yeah, usually doesn't go well. I did some stand up, just open mics, and I pretty much ate shit every time I got on stage. Which, it's rare to see someone just get up there and do well at their first attempt, but that's awesome. How did you immediately go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't pretty. I mean, I was still terrible, and I bombed for like 3 years straight. But
yeah.
I think being shit-faced, it made me look comfortable. And as a comedian, if you've done it a few times, they shine a light, meaning get off stage.
Yeah.
And no one told me what that was. Yeah, so I just kept going.
Oh, that's how you really win the crowd over.
Yeah. Then they cut my mic, and I just was like, I guess the mic broke, so now I'm yelling. And then they turned music on, and I'm like, well, somebody's really fucking up in the DJ booth, so I just kept going through the music. Eventually, I looked to my right, and there's a guy on the side of the stage going, get the fuck up, what the hell are you doing? You crazy weirdo. So that was my first time.
Oh, my God, that is so funny.
So did you ever, honestly, this is a serious question, because any sport you do, anybody that does professional, like, I always think about baseball players being out in left field, if you have to take a shit. Like, if you ever literally come close to shitting your pants on stage or almost puking on stage, because that's your time. You have to do 4 minutes or 40 minutes. You can't do any of those other things. So have you ever gotten close to that shit?
Well, yeah, that's one of the cool things about being on stage is everything else in your mind just goes away. You're just worried about that. So I've had to shit horribly, and it just goes away when you're on stage because it's like fight or flight, You're not going to take a shit during a fist fight, and you're not going to take a shit when you're on stage. So, but the worst thing was when I did my Comedy Central half hour. I had the craziest week of my life. I broke up with a girl of 10 years. I got food poisoning. I did an album taping, and I did my half hour special on Comedy Central in 1 week. So I was like crazy stressed out from her, and you always hear like, oh, stress is bad for you, but I never really knew about it and understood it till then. And I had all this shit going on, and I got food poisoning like you wouldn't believe, and I had to go do my half hour, and this is a taping. This is my crowning moment of my career, and I'm shitting. I have shit running down my leg on stage, on TV.
And there's no backing out of that. There's no calling in sick for that.
No. They can't change the time. They can't reschedule. It's like a whole film crew, and they got an audience in there, and they have the venue booked, so you got to do it. And my dumb manager at the time was like, you should bring a beer on stage. Look like a cool guy. So I'm chugging beer with food poisoning while shitting.
You probably lost all that water weight, so you probably didn't look bloated on TV, so that's one good thing.
That's what it's all about, is looking good. I mean, in the end.
Dude, if you Google it, I'm so fucking bloated. I have like 6 chins. My face is red. I look like Bruce. It's crazy.
Well, here's a serious question for you. We've talked about this on WBV podcast. I don't know, fucking whatever. It was probably in the teens. Is it possible to do a dead sprint and push out a shit? Not like a rhea, not like a diarrhea, but a full, like a caca, like a fucking log. Is that possible, Mark?
It's a good. I've seen it done in like marathons. They always have a shit stain in a marathon, but I don't know about a dead sprint. I would like to try it. It'd be fun to just put a tarp down and get a Saturday and just do that. But
hey, it's just serious questions. That's I was thinking too, man, is when I listened to to your podcast, and it's funny. So I was a Howard Stern fan. And then I actually worked with Opie and Anthony at WAF in Boston here. I was like their intern, So that's my claim to fame kind of moving
This was
up.
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was 98. Well, this is just before they got fired from the station in Boston. So whatever. So anyway, I go from Stern, who's dirty, to Opie and Anthony, who are dirty. Honestly, you guys, you and fucking Joe are. It's beautiful. They talk about. I mean, you gotta. It's just so fucking good, but it's just so raw and so dirty. So it's like I can kind of get away with Stern or Opie and Jimmy, just kind of with the kids in the background. I got 2 young sons, but you guys, man, I gotta wait for the car. I gotta wait for the fucking car. It's so great, though. I love it, man.
Oh well, that means a lot. Yeah, we don't hold back, and we just. It's not even that we're trying to be horrific or blue or edgy. It's just we're sickos, and we have weird thoughts. Joe's always talking about how he wants a girl to shoot ovaries on him, and shit like that. And we'll talk about cum for 20 minutes.
Well, that's so. You're talking to Denny here, who's obsessed with beheadings and feces. So it's not much different over here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Everybody wants to hear this stuff, but people get all up in arms about it. I think people are just dumb, and they just think like, oh, I'm supposed to be grossed out by this. This is one of those things I've heard you're supposed to be grossed out by. It's like, oh, shut up. You have no opinion in life. You're an idiot. Just enjoy it. We're gonna die one day.
That's so true. And if the one thing about, and just plug it again, it's Tuesdays with Stories. Check it out on iTunes, or I'm sure you guys have it a million other places. But the one thing about you, man, is you're a fucking open book. And so Mark just lays out his fucking stories. Yep. Like, you're Australian. I mean, I've been kind of going backwards listening to your podcast, but man, you just let it fly. And these stories, like, he literally tells the story the next day on the podcast. So these women,
right.
So Mark's a well-known. He's very good with the ladies, and he will give a clear description on his podcast.
And I hear on Opie and Jimmy when you said you went 3 for 3 in 3 nights in
fucking insane
in Austin.
Yes.
And it's funny, though. Girls don't really listen to the radio other than stupid music, so you're safe. If you're ever dating anybody, you're safe, because all they listen to the same fucking song over and over again.
Whatever.
Exactly. That's so true. And then, I mean, I've almost gotten sued by a few girls, and I've gotten the crazy voicemails like, you motherfucker.
Wow.
So I never say the name, and but I've had a few girls who were like, that was so sweet what you said. I can't believe you thought I was that sexy, and that was a great night. So it's all up to girls. Some girls love it, and some girls come out to shows and they go, hey, listen to the pod. We could do that tonight. Like, some girls are into it.
That's fucking awesome.
That's what we're in this for.
Yeah, it goes both ways. And, I'll take the chewing out and the lawsuits just to get laid.
Now, how many women, Mark, have you had that only have one leg? Just Peggy? Anybody beyond Peggy?
No, just Peggy. I mean, I'm down, but I got to tell you, these one-legged women aren't exactly top-notch usually.
They're not always the best looking.
Bar fight. Yeah. It's always a pirate or somebody or a welder. So
it's tough to do cardio when you don't have another leg.
Exactly. That's a great point. I mean, this girl, I brought her to a friend's wedding, and everybody was like, "What?" She walked in and by staring at the leg, but she had a long dress on. So she was a real beauty and a great body with minus the leg, but that's rare, I think.
No Running Man at that wedding.
No, God, no.
That's just not right. That doesn't. So you almost got sued. So when I listen to this stuff, I'm like, and Joe List is essentially in the same boat as I. Well, not really. I have 2 kids and a wife, and I've been married 10 years. But Joe's got a fiance, so Mark tells her the stories. Okay. So it's funny to hear Joe kind of listen to Mark and go, so what did you do this weekend? Who's fucking who? But it's amazing, man. So do you ever see yourself? I know you were with a chick for 12 years or something like that. Does Mark Norman see himself settling down at some point? Is that possible?
Well, I have fears of my dick falling off at night. I have these dreams that my dick falls off like a dandelion for. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it too much. I'll kind of date a girl for like 2 weeks and then get paranoid and pull out. Not of her, but just pull out of the relationship, and then I'll go on the road again. Once you go back on the road, right when you get on that airplane, your brain clicks into like party mode, and you turn into like a werewolf, and you're just like, I want to fuck a radiator. You just gone crazy.
Yeah.
And you get to a new city, and it's like a primal thing for a man. I think you get to a new city, and it's like, I gotta bang somebody, I gotta conquer this city, and then you're performing in front of thousands of people, so the odds go way up, and you've been on TV, and all that helps. So it's too hard to say no.
Any single guy that's on a private jet on a regular basis has to have his head examined if he's going to get into a committed relationship.
That's fucking insane.
Completely.
You know what I was thinking too is you were on Horace and Pete, which is Louis C.K., and it's funny to hear you and Joe, who we look up to as comedians, because we're on the lowest rung of podcasts, but it's cool to hear you talk about the Horace and Pete set where Louis C.K. said, hey, come over to my house. And literally there's the most famous fucking people you could think of is, you got Alan Alda, Steve Buscemi, and Stephen Wright and so on. How was that experience, man?
Oh, my God. I mean, but I got to say, like, me and Joe have such low self-esteem and we're such pieces of shit that we know what you're going through. Like, we still feel that way. We get a booking at a college and we're like, hey, they like us. So I know what you're going through, but that Louis thing was crazy. I was in bed with a woman. I was hungover, and Louis texted me, and he goes, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I'm sitting in bed. And he goes, all right, come over. And I go over there, and it's, first of all, just going to his house is crazy. Like, beyond the stars there, I was just like, oh, my God, I'm going to Louis' house. I skipped all the way there. And I get there, and this lady opens the door, and I go, holy shit, I'm here to see Louis. And she goes, shh, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, sorry. And then I walk in, I'm like, there's a lot of coats in here. And she's like, shh. And then she goes, sit down right there and just don't talk. And I look over, and it's just this table full of all these A-listers. And like my first thought, this is how sad I am. My first thought is, my parents will care about this because they don't give a shit about anything. So I see Alan Alda. I'm like, oh, my dad don't give a shit about this.
Oh, yeah, Hawkeye's there.
Yeah, exactly. And I sit on the couch, and Louis turns around. He's at the head of the table, and he goes, just sit right there. We'll get you a script. We're not in this scene yet, so hang tight. And I'm like, oh, my God. I'm sitting there in his fucking study. He's got armoires full of Emmys and Grammys, and oh, my God, I see a big oak desk, and he's probably chewed up on that desk, and he's got all these pictures of him and, like, Robert Klein and Seinfeld and Carlin.
So you didn't you didn't look at your watch and go make it quick?
God, I wish. No, I couldn't do it. Then eventually it took so long, and he's like, yeah, there's food in the kitchen. I went in the kitchen. I ate all the food because no one else was eating it, and I hadn't eaten in like 2 days, and me and DePaul were just sitting around in his kitchen, just talking shit. And then he had me read a line or read a scene with Alda. I was like, I was outside of my body. It was crazy.
Wow, yeah, that must be crazy, man. Just to even be in their presence. And you got to hold your own. You almost have to hold your own. You have to be like, I'm cool. There's a reason I'm here. You know what I mean? It's like that. You have to have that confidence.
You have to talk yourself into it. Convince yourself you belong there.
But you got I don't know if the right term is hoodwinked, but you didn't know all these people were going to be there when you showed up, right? To Louis C.K.'s?
I had no idea.
That's
I didn't know why
nuts.
I was going. I didn't know what the show was. Horace and Pete wasn't even a thing. He didn't tell me I was reading. I had no idea. I thought maybe he wanted to like try some jokes out or needed his pool cleaned. I had no idea what he wanted.
It'd be great. It'd be great if he goes, listen, just get on your knees, Norman. There's nobody here. Just fucking.
Well, I think that's what he was expecting, and it went a lot better than he thought.
Yeah, I was down.
I know, right?
I had a scrunchie to hold my hair back.
Now, here's a question. So jumping back to comedy. Hecklers. I think it's one of the most amazing things. One of the craziest shit I when I search it on YouTube is just people owning hecklers or vice versa. The comic's a fucking an idiot. What's your sort of stance with hecklers and like?
He loves them.
No. Does anything jump out at you that it's horrifying? Someone try to take a swing at you?
Oh boy, I've had so many heckles. I'm such a piece of shit. I assume I'll get heckled every show. I just have that mindset. I don't know why. Like, you see these comics taking these long pauses. I'm like, who is the balls? Who do you think you are? I assume the audience hates me from the get-go. I assume they hate my act and they're bored out of their mind. I assume they all want to leave. So I'm just going joke. I don't give any space. And I wish I had the Cosby thing where you could just, go a little here, a little there. I don't have that. So I'm always ready for hecklers. I got heckled in Florida not too long ago. I said a joke about women, and this fat chick, she goes, boo! And I go, did you say boo or moo? And that one felt pretty good.
Because you eat a lot, fatso. Fucking, I bet
exactly.
Your best term is flatso.
You probably wouldn't have to explain it afterwards.
Yeah, that's it, you fucking cow.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
Here's one, Mark. Have you ever done a 180? So taken a good-looking female heckler and then fucked her that night. Is that even possible?
Oh, that's a good question.
Bachelorette party, I'm thinking.
Yeah, right? He's so fucking
I've had the bachelorette party chick be like, he stinks. And then we started talking. I was like, I stink. And then I'm like, look, I'm killing. And then she kind of like turned around and then we talked outside. Like I had the whole like, what the fuck's your problem? And then we ended up making out.
See, so you did.
Awesome.
So the answer is you did. So Mark,
I guess so. Yeah.
You really are. If anybody, once again, listen to Tuesdays with Stories. It's Joe List and Mark Normand. So do you think that your gash game would be slowed down if you had a tattoo just above your dick that said "Drink from my AIDS-filled death cannon"? Do you think that would slow your gash game down?
Well, first of all, gash game, that'd be a great Parker Brothers. I'd like to see that one.
You finger it
secondly,
at the
And you're assuming they can all read.
Oh, okay, of course.
Good point. Yeah, and they're all in a blackout and asleep, So I think I'd be fine, but I'd just grow my pubes out. If I don't know why anyone would get that tattoo. I would just keep the lights off.
It's like Tommy Lee's Mayhem tattoo.
Except
just
not
not
anywhere near as cool.
You don't think that's a great idea? Oh, here's I'm just this one we've had, and this one really fucked with my head. So Mark, if you had to choose, okay, so you had to go steady with this person for a week. The top half is all guy, okay? Picture top half all guy, man, down bottom, a hot pussy, like it's a female bottom, and a male top, or the complete opposite. So you got a gorgeous girl, sweet tits, and the bottom half is a dick, and it's a guy. So not transgender. We're talking almost like a fucking morph beast, some sort of beast, but half and half. So who are you going steady with for a week?
Wow. Well, geez. Are you stealing questions from Charlie Rose?
Charlie Rose.
It's very highbrow over here, Mark.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm just kidding. That's a tough. So we're walking around town and stuff.
Yeah, you got to be with him. Now think about it. I mean, the top half woman, but when you take that thing home, there's a hammer waiting for you.
Boy, that's a great question. Jeez. I guess I would go with the vagina because if I was walking around town, I'd just pretend it was a buddy, it was a friend, and then when I got home, I would just, go doggy.
So you got Lou Ferrigno on top and Daryl Hannah on the bottom.
Yeah, I guess so. I would go down on her a lot just so I wouldn't have to see anything else, and I would just slip it in the dark.
It's either way you go. It's the question makes you not feel good.
It's that's twisted. Yeah, it makes you think a little bit.
Yeah,
that was from our listener Rodney up north. Yeah, good old Rodney. Yeah. Hey, you did you hosted Anthony's show, man. That was last week with Joe, right? Anthony.
Oh yeah, that was a real clusterfuck.
Really? I honestly didn't hear it. I missed it.
Well, the thing was, me and Joe did it together. We hosted it together, but we're like, we don't want to burn any Tuesday stories. So let's just have some guests on and dick around. So we had Ari Shaffir and Tim Dillon and Jason Cantor on, just some old friends. And we all just got into it with like political stuff and PC and social commentary. And it turned out pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, he's back.
It was fun.
He's back
He's
from
back
rehab
today,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so today he's back.
Yeah, he's back now, but he just kind of left the studio for all of us comics to dick around in. And the Cumia fans are nerve-wracking because they all have, like, all their profile pictures are just rifles and pistols, and, everybody's a piece of shit and a liberal douche, and it's terrifying. If they hate you, you're going to die.
Well, yeah, you have to say the right things right off the bat, or you're a libtard.
Yeah, funny. Exactly. We're like, we love guns, and we hate women. They're
there
like,
you
great.
go. That's what you got to open with.
So I don't want to take up your time, man. I said I'd only do close to half an hour, and I really honestly appreciate you so much coming on the WBV podcast. Let me plug away for you. So marknormandcomedy.com is his website. @marknorm is his Twitter. And, of course, Facebook. Just look him up. He's there. He's got the blue check mark. That means he's famous. Instagram, Mark Normand. That's what it means. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. And go ahead and plug away, man. You'll hit a couple hundred people, but we'll take care of you, man. Any shows or anything big you want to...
Get ready for the big time.
Yeah, this is big.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. You guys are funny and a lot of fun, and really nice. So thank you. Secondly, yeah, I'll be at Zany's in Nashville, not this weekend, but the next one. And then after that, I'm doing Conan on the 23rd, so check that out. And then the weekend after that, I believe it's the 26th, I'm in Vancouver, the Comedy Mix. So come on out, folks.
Nice. You said Conan. This will be like your third time doing Conan, huh?
Fourth, big four.
Oh, shit. That's great, man. That's some fucking amazing exposure, right? I'm assuming you get a nice uptick on followers and shit once you do something national like that.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. It's really, sadly, podcasts are like that's like the new thing. Like if you get on a Marin or a Rogan or somebody like that.
Nice. Well, there's a question for you before I let you go. Where do you see podcasts in the future? Where do you see this going?
I think, well, everybody has one now. Everybody's got 8 podcasts, and the Garbage Man has a podcast called
You're talking
one
to
man's
them.
trash and another man's treasure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's got a pod. So you really got to build your own niche. And I think podcasts are just going to be like the new Instagram. Like the way you look at somebody's Instagram, like, look what he did. That's going to be podcasting. Everybody's going to have one. And it's just going to be about their life. And you got to find your own people and find your own niche. So that's the key now. And as long as they don't get regulated and censored, I think we're good. I think they'll go forever.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually literally tell me, or people are reviewing, like if iTunes or whoever said, hey, man, you did this, you did that. That's the cool thing about this. When I was on radio, I was reading from cards. I was told what to say. I mean, it was like, come on, enough already, playing the same shit over and over.
Yeah.
But we literally let everything fly. As long as it's not fucking hate speech or anything crazy, although leave that to Tony. But, you can get away with it. But that's so true, man. That's a good point is regulation.
As long as the FCC doesn't get involved. And they haven't with satellite radio either because you have to pay for it. So, I mean...
Right. It's like cable.
As long as the government doesn't get involved, it'll be good.
That's it. All
Right.
Well, hey, Mark, I really, really appreciate you joining the show. I mean, you're one of the funniest cats I know. Check out Tuesdays with Stories. Him and Joe List, really, really funny guys. We'd love to get Joe List on the show. I think I might have threw him a Facebook message, too. But you guys are some funny shit, and we really appreciate you calling in tonight.
Sure, I'll tell Joe to get on board. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm sure he would not mind doing it.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks again, Mark. We appreciate it, bud.
Thank you. Have a good one. Praise Allah.
See you, bud.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.